Hi you guys, my name is Cyan Gore and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Long time no see, but to make up for that, I decided that I'm gonna be doing Bookmas this year, so you guys are going to be getting 25 days straight of my face. We're gonna have a lot of bonding time this month, and I'm going to try to be reading a book in every single video. I'm a little bit stressed out about it, but it's okay. It's gonna be fun. That's the main point of this. So that's what we're doing, and I thought it would be fun to kick off Bookmas with a library tour, simply because this is the room that you guys are going to be seeing a lot of in my future videos, so why not just go ahead, start off with a bang, and show you the entire room. So this is a room that you guys have never really seen. We used to keep it as like a storage room. We were recently able to turn it into my own library, but at the same time, it's kind of like a guest room slash office slash dressing room. So it's just an all-in-one. And although it's not the most aesthetic, it is very functional for me. So when you first walk in, one thing you'll notice, like I said, it's kind of a guest room. So I did decide to put a bed in here, but honestly, it wasn't with the intention of using it as a guest room. It was because I have tried so many different reading chairs, and by that I mean 2 different ones, and I didn't like either of them, and I was like, you know what? I like to lay in bed and read, so instead of a reading chair, why not just put a bed in here?
Explosion.
Yeah, I guess it could be used as a guest room, but if I'm being honest, we don't like having overnight guests. But this bed is, I believe, a full-size bed. I just got it on Amazon. If you look really close, you'll see that I literally still have stickers on the bed frame from when I put it together, because I am lazy. On each side of the bed, I also did put these Alex drawers from IKEA. I just have already had these for years, kind of wanted to use them as nightstands-ish, and I also just kind of had nowhere else to put them, so they're there. On this one, we just have my air purifier because you need one in your room with the books. I did have a problem with a couple of books molding, so I have been taking that very seriously now. And I also have remotes for the lights in here because the lighting is actually atrocious in this room. Even in the daytime, there are trees in this backyard, so you just get no light in here. So I did buy these rechargeable lights that you'll notice up on the ceiling. And then on the other side, again, it's just like a little lamp and then all of my necessities. And above the bed, you will see some bookish related art. I purchased all of these as digital downloads from Etsy, and then I just got them printed at Walmart. And besides that, I also just have like some Polaroids me and my husband took with our dogs when we first got them. And then moving on, this is my little getting ready corner. I literally have a mirror, a cute little rug, and this cart used to actually be my TBR cart, but now I organize my books in a different way. So I just use this as like my getting ready storage. On top, I have all of my hair stuff. In the middle, I have skincare, and then on the bottom is my makeup, and it just makes getting ready so much easier. And then of course we have my mirror to get ready in. I like that this is in the corner because it just feels like my own little bubble when I'm getting ready, and I don't know, for some reason I like that. And I am also a sit on the floor and get ready girl. I have tried to be the girl that sat in a chair and had a nice little vanity mirror, got rid of that so fast. And I also tried to be like a bathroom get ready girl, but no, just absolutely not. I do not want to stand and get ready. So that's why this is here. And then we have my desk. Above that, it's just some more random art that like I couldn't fit above the bed. It is very off-centered, but we're gonna ignore that. So this is my desk. We're not really gonna get much into it. I just have a whiteboard with the calendar on it. I have my Amazon voice control thing. And then I have this little stand that I use to put my laptop on, and I can connect the laptop to the monitor slash TV and have 2 screens going at once. It's really nice. I have my keyboard, my mouse, of course. And this is my desk chair. This desk and chair is also from IKEA, but I did take the handles off of the desk because I like to sit crisscross applesauce sometimes, and it made that very uncomfortable. So I just took them off. And now we are getting over to the bookshelves. So I have 3 shelves. The way I organize my books now is I just put everything together because I like having series together, and I know what I have and haven't read, so it doesn't really make it confusing for me. So first off, let's talk up top. Up top, I just have some genres that I don't have much of because I needed the extra space. So on the left side, I have my dark academia, and then on the right side, I have my young adult thriller slash mysteries. Then we're gonna go from left to right. This side has romances that are just kind of like not a specific genre. I guess you could say they're, what are they, contemporary romances on this side? I think that's what you would categorize them as. And then below that, I have sports romances. So, of course, the Boys of Tommen get their own little display. And then right next to that is Windy City. And then below that, we have just other random sports series slash books. Some of them I have read, some of them I haven't. And on the right side of this random candle, we have all of the ones that are ice skating slash hockey related. And then, of course, at the end, we have my Mariana Zapata. Below that, we have Taylor Jenkins Reid books. This, I don't know, because to me, TJR, they always have romance as a subplot, but they're not really romances, so I don't really know where to put it. I just stuck it right here. And then I also have my Jessa Hastings books. This is what I call my rich bitch shelf. These are just books about millionaires living my dream. So that's this shelf. We have my Addicted slash Calloway Sister series, and then we have Lauren Asher books. We also have Megan Quinn books, and then the Twisted series by Anna Wong. Moving on to the next shelf, we have my Elsie Silver shelf, which I love her so much. And then continuing on with that theme, below that it just goes into my small town romances. And then this is where like the transition kind of gets sloppy. So beside that, I have romances that also have a little bit of a mystery, which there's only 2, Stalking Jack the Ripper and A Curious Beginning. And then we have our age gaps slash taboo romances. And then I have this little cup with all my bookmarks in it. Below that, we then go from taboo transitioning into dark romances. So I love Jennifer Hartman. We have her books. Loved this series by Lee Rivers. Also just blinked on what it's called. And then just like romances that have any inkling of something supernatural in it. The transitions start to get a little weird. We have sci-fi. I literally only have these 3. Below that is my dystopian. And then coming up this way, one of my favorite shelves, we have all of my fantasies slash romanticises. I'm trying to remember how I organized these. I really don't know. Oh, I guess I decided to make this my YA shelf. Yeah, that was my YA shelf. And it kind of continues down with Heartless Hunter and Rebel Witch, and then it starts to get into more adult territory. That just reminded me. We have Bride down here. The reason why it's down here is because it's a vampire wolf romance, and I just don't like that it was black. I don't want to put a book that's black up there with my bright, colorful contemporary romances, but that's why it's down here and separated from its author. So we have that. And then just some more like first of series that I haven't read. And then we have the Phantasma series, which I love. Below that, V.E. Schwab, of course, gets her own little display as well. And then some more books that I don't think I've read a single one of these. And then below that, we have my adult thriller slash mysteries. And then moving on from the bookshelves, once you come over here, I also have all of my just regular fiction. So Kristen Hanna gets her own display, and then some other ones. And then I have these like floating shelves, and at first I tried to put paperbacks in them that bent the paperbacks, and it was not a good idea. So I decided to put all my book of the month books up there. Don't know what I'm gonna do with the rest in the future because, I mean, all of the slots are filled, so we'll figure that out in the future. But below that, I just have this little cart on the top shelf. This is like my recent TBR that I want to read coming up. And then below that, that's just a bunch of new books that I've gotten recently that I haven't put away yet because I'm lazy. And then below that, those are just all my dog's toys because this room, when I get ready in the morning, is basically for my dogs. This bed, basically for my dogs. So they're always playing in here, and they can just go over there and grab it. And I'm constantly picking them up and throwing it back in there. So there's that. And then we come back around. I have a fan in the corner, and we're back at the bed. That's it. That is my library tour. Now, continuing on with Bookmas though, I am going to start our first book, and that is actually going to be Local Woman Missing. This is by Mary Kubica, I think is how you say it. I have just been in a terrible slump recently, and I feel like a thriller is going to help get me out of that. They always tend to, so that's what I've been in the mood for recently as well, especially considering I did not read much in October, and that's one of my favorite times of the year, but it didn't happen. So now we're going to pick up the slack. We're going to read a thriller. So this is the one I chose. There you have it. This is what we're going with. But when I'm filming this, it actually is the morning time. It is 7:04. So that means that it's time for me to finish getting ready for work, eat some breakfast, and then I'll sit down for a little bit and start this book. So let's do it. I'm aware that this is like the worst angle ever. I did make it 25% of the way through Local Woman Missing, so I just wanted to update you guys while I'm on my way to work. We have 4 characters. There is Meredith, Delilah, Leo, and Kate. Meredith is the main character, I would say, and Delilah is actually her daughter. And when Delilah is 6 years old, both of them end up going missing. It is now 11 years later, and Delilah is able to escape her kidnappers. She, however, has no recollection because of all the time that's passed of who her past family was. She has no idea what happened to her mother. She just was locked up in an attic, basically, so she doesn't even know what someone her age should know. And so we are getting a past and present timeline with what happened leading up to both of their disappearances, as well as what's happening now that Delilah is back home. And like I said, Kate's another character in here. We're getting her point of view too, and she is the family's neighbor. Right now, I don't understand 100% why we're even getting her point of view. Don't know if she's going to be important, but I have a feeling that unfortunately, that's probably going to have something to do with the plot twist. So I feel like I know what the plot twist is going to be. That we also get Leo's point of view. And Lilo, I keep wanting to say Lilo, like Lilo and Stitch, but no, it's Leo. Leo is Delilah's brother. His point of view, is mainly to show how his dad was acting while Delilah and Meredith were missing, as well as how he's acting now, and even seeing Delilah and how she's adjusting to being back in normal society. And so it's interesting that we get to see that through Leo's eyes instead of the author just putting us in Delilah's eyes. We actually only really get Delilah's point of view mostly in the very, very beginning of the book. I don't know if she's going to come back in later, but it seems like we only really have one point of view from her so far, and that was when she was being held captive and during her escape. Now, I will say it's not bad. The very beginning definitely hooked me, and this is going to sound so dumb. I know I'm going to get judged for this, but the chapters do feel really long. And I also don't like that the chapters aren't numbered. I don't know if that makes anyone else upset, but it makes me upset.
There's people that are dying.
Anyways, another thing is that it does kind of move at a slow pace, but I'm only 25% of the way through, so we will just have to see what happens going forward. I can't really make any sort of judgment call right now, so that's where I'm at. Once I get to work and I have some free time, I'll continue to read a little bit more throughout the day, and I've decided to bring you guys along with me, so I'm not going to actually be vlogging today while I'm at work, but you will be getting the reading vlog portions of it all. Just because the idea of filming my entire day, every single day for 25 days, actually sounds like my personal nightmare. So the way I'm kind of formatting this Bookmas is that you guys are obviously going to be getting a reading vlog, but there's also going to be like another little theme to each video. I probably should have explained this in the beginning, but like today's theme was the library tour, so you're getting that. And then tomorrow you'll get another book vlog, but you'll also get a morning routine. So like I don't have to be filming 24 hours a day, you know? It just makes the most sense to me, so that's what I'm doing. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys the next time I have free time to read and with our next update. Okay guys, so I just got home from work. I'm about to make myself a snack and then get in the shower and get ready to lay down for bed because I did only make it 50% of the way through Local Woman Missing. It is currently 6:10. Give or take, I have like 3 to 4 hours to finish this book. I think I can do it. So I wanted to just go ahead and give you guys my update before I do all of that because I'm probably not going to film much of it simply because it is that time of the month for me and I'm not in the mood. Of course it would be day 1 of Bookmas 2. That's just fantastic. But anyways, let's make a snack. I'm just gonna make Rotel dip because that's what I'm craving right now. So before we get started, I do also just want to say that it's not going to be much of an update simply because there's not much else going on. I feel a little bit bored. I think it's because it's just kind of going back and forth between Kate and Meredith mostly and their past lives, and it's kind of just like them doing everyday things. We learn that one of our characters is kind of shitty. We get all these suspicious little things about other characters kind of sprinkled in that they're figuring out as time goes on, but it's boring. Well, I don't know, does there have to be a reason? Like, I just find it boring. I don't really care about their everyday to-day life. It moves at a pretty slow pace for me, and that kind of information is just not stuff that I typically care about in thrillers. I will say, I know I kind of am a tough critic when it comes to thrillers because none of them just blow my mind. And this one's definitely not blowing my mind. It's kind of crazy though because I do like Frida McFadden books. Not that they're good, but I like them. I don't know what that says about me. Feel free to judge, but there's just something about a fast-paced thriller that keeps me entertained and grips my attention, and you don't have to know all this random background knowledge, and it's not moving slow, and I understand that the twists aren't that great either, and that it's not like these interwoven webs that make the plot twist so great. But I prefer Frida over these super slow, methodical ones. And it's not because I'm not a critical thinker, okay? It's just that I don't care. I don't care.
That's my opinion!
I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but that's how I feel. Don't look at my dirty kitchen. But yeah, that's my 50% update. I actually can't do 2 things at once. I thought I was going to film this update while making this, but that didn't end up happening. So I'm gonna leave you there. Enjoy this update while you see me walk around my kitchen doing nothing. Anyways, it is what it is. I will see you once I get done with my night activities. Okay, so first things first, if you have a nose ring and you start to get an irritation bump, pimple patch. Poke a hole through it, put it around your nose ring. It works for me. I don't know if you're supposed to do that, but it works for me. Moving on, I am 3/4 of the way through Local Woman Missing, and again, it's not gonna be much of an update because my thoughts are pretty much still the same. And if you're like me, and while you're reading a thriller / mystery, you're also trying to figure out what's going on throughout the story, and this one, it kind of feels like the author is taking us on a wild goose chase. Now, this is something that is done in a lot of thrillers because they don't want you to guess the plot twist, right? But in here, it really feels like, what is the point? And I know, eventually it's all going to come full circle. It's going to have to do with the plot twist. But I just feel like a lot of this information might be a waste of time. I mean, I know in my brain that it's not. But at the same time, as I'm reading it, I'm like, why does this matter? Like, literally, Just hurry up and tell me. Can we at least have one plot twist? Because I feel like sometimes in thrillers, there's at least one small plot twist that you get before we reach the 75% mark. Like, I don't have much left of this book, and I don't have high hopes for the ending. I just have a feeling that the plot twist is not going to be great enough to be able to save it for me, which is very unfortunate because the premise of it sounded very interesting. A girl goes missing, she comes back 11 years later. Hello? That's like right up my alley, but it's just not interesting enough in my opinion. It's not keeping me gripped, and I really hate that this is the first book we started off with for Bookmas, but it is what it is. So that is this one so far. I'm gonna keep reading, try to finish it up before I go to bed. I think I have like less than 100 pages for sure, so let's get into it. So unfortunately, my final thoughts on this one are not good. The plot twist did come at the end, and there were multiple plot twists, but almost to the point where it was overdoing it. I hate that this happened, but the author made our victim, Meredith, seem really fucking stupid. And not just her, but like the whole police department, everyone who was involved in this investigation. It just didn't seem very logical, even though it's not real. I low-key am like victim blaming in this. I'm like,
You're actually so dumb. Why would you do that?
it's almost like when you're watching a scary movie and you know that someone's hiding in the closet and the girl's about to go open up the closet and you're like,
No, girl, don't open up that closet.
I just don't see this happening in real life. And yeah, again, I know it's not real, it's a book. But when it's a thriller slash mystery, I think what makes it the most thrilling is when things are realistic, right? And now it doesn't necessarily have to be realistic to the point where it almost gives you this dark, gross feeling. It involves certain topics that make you feel that way, but it does need to be realistic where like the police in the book aren't just fucking dumb. I don't know. I feel like that's not going to make sense unless you read it. I mean, really the only one who messed up was one person in the police in particular, but the fact that like no one else figured out that she did that, there's a chain of command for a reason. I just did not vibe well with this book. It still wasn't entertaining in my opinion. I can understand why someone might like this book. It's actually very highly rated on Goodreads. I think I'm just not in that majority, and that's fine. So for me, I am going to give it a 2.5. Unfortunately, but I'm still in the mood to continue with the thriller theme, so I will be continuing until I get burnt out, I guess. I feel like you guys are very high up. Hold on. But that is it for the first day of Bookmas. My life is very boring, so that's why I don't know if it's going to be entertaining for you. I'm also just not feeling well today for day one. I am running on 2 hours of sleep, so that's always fun. I'm going to try to be in good spirits coming up for the rest of Bookmas, and I'm also excited because we do have some Christmas holiday activities coming up. We still need to decorate our house for Christmas too. That will be coming up soon. I am actually still though, even though I'm not feeling my best, so freaking excited to be doing Bookmas and to just be back on YouTube and hang out with you guys every single day. So I hope you're excited too. But yeah, that's it for this. I will literally see you guys tomorrow. Hope you all have a great night. Get some sleep. Good night. Sweet dreams.